Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Amanda. If you're new, subscribe. If you're not, welcome back. So today's going to be quite an interesting video. It is going to be about Kate Yup and the mysteries kind of revolving around her and her channel right now. Clearly, she is a girl who can eat a lot in a short period of time without drinking water. Every video is from the neck up and she's blindfolded. So we're gonna kind of explore the theories and conspiracies about that, and as well as throw a little bit of my own opinion in there. A lot of this stuff is extremely interesting, especially the fact that she does not speak in her videos, so we really have no idea who this girl is. We don't really know anything about her. The only thing we know is that she eats a lot of seafood, and she only whispers in her videos, and that only started in the beginning. Now she would start and just kind of be like, hey guys, and whisper, and then that started in her first videos, and as her videos progressed it seemed that she talked less and less, to the point where she just wasn't speaking at all, and it would just kind of be like a smile, a wave, and start to eat. Now let's go to July 24th, 2018, when she put out a video, and in this video she wrote soy sauce and Kate's sauce and then listed the ingredients in Kate's sauce. Now what I found interesting about that is that she followed it with saying, and my salmon of course. I thought it was pretty interesting that she put it in third person and then went to first person. It was kind of bizarre, it was a little weird, not to say that that's totally like, oh, she's kidnapped now, but it was a little weird. She could just be identifying it and kind of like branding it, like branding her own sauce, like Kate sauce, like here are the ingredients. On August 19th, 2018, she put out a video and she had a cut on her lip, and now she was wearing long sleeves. The only reason why I noted the long sleeves was because in her previous two videos she wasn't wearing long sleeves, or they were rolled up and her arms were exposed, but now she's putting out a video and she has a cut on her lip and now she's wearing long sleeves, where later we find out she does have bruises on her arms, but we'll get to that. Another thing that I noted that could have just been like whatever was on October 22nd, 2018, she ate peppers and like spicy noodles or whatever it was. She seems to be struggling a little bit, but obviously she finished the whole meal. Now, I mean, I've seen these kinds of videos rarely. I don't really watch them. They're not interesting to me. I was never interested in ASMR, any of that. But I just thought it was a little odd that she just kept going and didn't take a sip of water. Like, it's almost like this girl is being deprived of water. Like, she has to do it without drinking anything, and it's like, if you're eating that spicy food, like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, she drank water, like, we're impressed that she didn't. Like, yeah, of course we are, but take a sip of water, girl, like, seriously. That just raises the question on if she was actually enjoying it or if this was just kind of a forced behavior. Now fast forward to this year, on June 21st, she put out a video that around like 40 seconds she says, I'm so hungry, as she's like shoving her face with all this food. And I thought it was a weird comment. I thought it was kind of like a cover-up as to why she's eating so fast. It was kind of like, I'm eating really fast, so now I feel like I have to cover it up by saying I'm so hungry, because obviously we did not think that you had a meal before this. So that goes to show, like, was she covering that up? Like, why are you eating so fast? Around 5 minutes and 30 seconds, she actually wipes her mouth with a scallop. I noted that. She has the wristband. I was wondering why she didn't use that, let alone napkins. It kind of seems like she's someone who's used to not using them. Granted, this is the video. This could just be how she does it in her videos. It was just something I noted. I also noted that she did have a little bruise on her arm. In this video, she was bruised, she had bruises on her arm, and around 5 minutes and 37 seconds-ish, she tapped on the bowl. Now, a lot of people had a theory that this was Morse code. And I personally don't believe that because of all the other comments I read. It really has no correlation to Morse code, like nobody could even figure that one out. So I kind of like put my own theory on it, and like regardless, it is a weird motion. You know, it's a weird motion for someone who claims to enjoy this so much and love it, because she's tapping on the bowl kind of like anxiety, like nervous, am I gonna finish this in time? Like she shouldn't be worried about how fast she's gonna do it and the time unless someone is making her do it in a certain amount of time. Which brings me to the point that all her videos are under 30 minutes, which also brings me to the point that she might have someone there saying if you don't finish this in 30 minutes, you know, there's going to be consequences. It's also, there are two sides to every story, and I'm trying to present those. I'm trying to say, hey, like, this could be this, or it could be she's kidnapped. I'm kind of trying to open the minds of some of the people that are so stuck on her being kidnapped that this could just be the way she does things. But I'm also not here to minimize the fact that this girl could potentially be in danger. Now, this was a huge thing, and it was the same video, but it was her comment on the video. The comment read, "It's not Morse code. That isn't even how Morse code works. It is a series of short and long pulses. Even thinking outside of the box by assuming she is using one finger for pulses and only one finger for short pulses, she taps 3 fingers on the bowl. It is just random tapping. There is no correlation between her tapping and Morse code. I couldn't identify a single letter. Every other claim aside from the bruises is just silly. Why would a captor let her edit her videos? That doesn't make any sense. And if Joe YouTuber could spot the SOS, so would they. And if she knew enough to use SOS as a call for help, why on earth wouldn't she have tapped that on the bowl? It's the only Morse code I have memorized. Also, the bowl moves, so what? Because her other hand is resting on it. It moves perfectly with the rest of her body. Finally, her lip does not look busted. It's either a cold sore, which would explain it showing up more than once, or bad blemish." So let me just clear up the bowl moving. A lot of people had theories that the bowl moved on its own, that someone else had moved it and she didn't. I am not so into that theory. I don't believe that's really what happened. I think her arm was close enough to that bowl to move it. Granted, like I said, I'm not trying to minimize the situation. I'm not trying to say no, she's not in danger, and she really is. So let's be real, there are sides to this that could be explained and there's not. So that's what I'm here for. But with the comment that she left on her own video, it's in third person, as if someone wrote it about her, which is extremely scary. Granted, now we know she's not great with English. We can see it in her descriptions. She might be using a translator of some sort. She could have gotten the pronouns wrong on this comment, but I really have no explanation for this comment. She straight up was talking in third person, and if you notice in her descriptions, they're a little tough on the English, they're not so good, and then that comment was kind of just perfectly written in English, third person. It just didn't sound like her. I read a comment that said someone had posted it on Reddit, like someone had wrote that about her and Kate had copied and pasted it onto her own video. But when I copied and pasted it into Google, I didn't find anything else. I didn't find anyone else who said that on Reddit, anywhere. So, moral of the story, I'm pretty sure someone else wrote that about her. Now, on August 15th, 2019, she put out a video and it said, "Hey, I'm still alive, friends. You can see to my smile." And then she says, "Everything is okay for me." Now notice how the H and the E are both capitalized. Now fast forward to like 7 minutes and 52 seconds, she says, "Look at me, are you really thinking I'm being forced to eat?" And then about 3 minutes later, at like 11 minutes and 30 seconds into the video, she says, "Prawn, just smaller than giant shrimps and easier to eat because I removed the skin." If you notice, everything that's capitalized spells out help, H-E-L-P. It is very off-putting considering the context doesn't really make sense for, like, I don't think anyone was wondering, you know, about the prawns and her taking the skin and how they were easier to eat or whatever. Like, I really don't think anyone was wondering that. I think that was put in there specifically to get the P into that sentence. Just like saying, look at me, do you really think I'm forced to eat? That's a sentence that, you know, you would only say if you're kind of guilty of that. If not, I don't want to say guilty, that's a horrible word. It's more so, why would you say that if you're not being forced to eat? You know, you don't really address it in that way. Again, we know her English isn't great, so she could be using a translator and it doesn't translate greatly to us, but it was extremely weird. And obviously it spelled out help, which is extremely scary. Now fast forward to around 17 minutes and 18 seconds into the video, there's a very odd cutscene, and it only lasts about 2 seconds or 3 or 4. I didn't really count that, but it's very odd. If she's the one editing, you know, I edit my own videos and I wouldn't put that scene in there. It was kind of just a cutscene of her kind of looking at the camera, a little scared. No, I don't want to say scared because she wasn't like shaking in her boots, but she was kind of just looking at the camera, a little distracted, like she was looking at someone, or maybe she was looking to fix the camera, or, you know, maybe she was making sure it was still recording, because I do that a lot as well. But it was just very odd. It was a weird thing to put in there. If she is trying to get the attention of people, she's definitely getting it, because that cutscene alone is just not something I would put in my videos. It was very odd. I'll show it to you. But as you can see, it's a little weird, and it's not like it was a part of like the end of a clip. It was literally just chopped, put in there, chopped again, and continue on with the video. So it was a little odd. Now around 20 minutes and 28 seconds into the video, she says, "You can notice it. I am very well. I'm alone while I'm eating, nobody telling me what I have to do, I do it by myself." It's just a weird thing to say, because it's almost as if someone's trying to convince us so hard and manipulate us to think that she's fine, and she's really not, saying I'm alone while I'm eating. You know, we presume that in the video. We just see you, we're kind of assuming you're alone. Granted, I did watch a couple videos. It does sound like there are some things in the background, maybe some clicks and clacks, and maybe like some counters banging or whatever, or shutting, but it's definitely a weird thing to say when so many people are wondering if you're okay, and you just kind of say, nah, I'm alone in the videos, nobody's making me do it. If I had people concerned about this about me, personally, I would project that. I would open up my camera and say, hey guys, I'm okay, like I'm seriously okay. You know, at that point, like, it's a joke gone too far if you're not putting out videos and you're really okay. Granted, I do understand if she does want to cover her face for these specific videos. They're not the most ideal, you know, not everyone, you know, she might be a little embarrassed for friends or family to know that she does these types of videos. It just could be that aspect, but I like to keep in mind the fact that it may not be. I'm here for the details and to kind of put some awareness into the situation to people who weren't aware, because this is a serious situation. Whether or not it's a joke or it really is something more sinister, nobody knows that yet, so it's a little concerning, considering this is all too familiar, being that Marina Joyce, a couple years ago, people thought she was kidnapped, being held hostage or whatever. Hopefully this is just a situation where she's not and she's home and safe, but there's a chance she's not, and we're here to read the facts. Now, one of her most recent videos was October 5th, 2019. She said, for several weeks now, there is a polemic about myself. As you can notice, I am happy. Nobody is torturing me. And then she says, oh no, I'm lying. In fact, there is people torturing me every day without even knowing it. And then she says, all the people continuing to spread the rumor, and then just puts Kate Yep up. My question is why she's addressing it in a way that raises more red flags and more questions. I have more questions than answers now. Now I think you're not okay. You're still not showing your face. You're putting these random captions in your videos that don't really make a lot of sense. You're addressing the issue, but barely. You know, Kate Yup is not on like Twitter, or I'm pretty sure I've seen a screenshot of her on like Snapchat, but there's no real Kate Yup. There's not a lot of social media sites that are officially her. And I'm pretty sure there was a Facebook, but I'm not sure if it's actually her. Like I said, you'd think she'd put out a video of her talking or saying something, you know, more so than her captions that are extremely confusing to us, and we kind of just want to know if she's okay. Another thing I noticed was how the blindfold, and somewhere in the comments I saw that someone was claiming that she had addressed the issue and said, hey, like, I got bullied for my nose, I didn't really like my nose, it had deformities or whatever. But in later videos, you know, the whole nose is exposed. It's kind of like she's lying. It was a face deformity or a nose deformity, and now she's exposing her nose. So it's a little odd to me. Now, if you notice, I'll put a little picture up. That's her like profile picture for YouTube, and if you Google it, it comes up, like it'll come up as a regular Google image, so that image could have been Googled. And it's scary to think that, because it doesn't look anything like the person in the videos to me. It looks like a completely different person. Now, why would that be? If, you know, if you find the actual picture on Google, it's a full face, eyes and everything. So granted, if that's actually her, we know what she looks like. But in the case that's not, and I believe it's not, I believe that is two completely different people, then that's extremely weird in itself that someone had to Google the image and put it up. So yeah, and in my personal opinion, no one can eat that much food without feeling sick or extremely, extremely full. Now this gets a little more serious in the fact that she could potentially have a serious eating disorder, whether she binge eats, and after the videos, which obviously we cannot see, she may get sick or make herself get sick. And that really sucks. You know, if that's the case, it's really sad, and I hope that's not the case. I hope she's fine and just doing great, and she can just eat all that seafood and she just lives and she's good and doesn't throw up, or, you know, I hope that's the case, but clearly there's something going on here. Something has to be up. So therefore it's got to be like one or the other. Someone's making her do this, or she binge eats and she just has an eating disorder. But like I said, let's hope that's not the case. Another thing I noticed was in one of her videos, her like wrist thing was kind of like sliding off, and it revealed a tattoo on her wrist, kind of like over here. Now this raises a question in my head: is she covering it with the wrist thing to cover her identity? Because if someone sees a tattoo, they might recognize it. Or is she actually just using it to wipe her mouth? I also noticed that there is a lot of like nodding in her video, whether it's just to, you know, okay, the video's starting, like here we go, or like, yeah, it's really good, I'm eating. It is in like odd times. She'll just kind of like give a little nod, or like, I don't know how to explain it, I'll put it in the video. But it's definitely like raised a question in my mind, like, why is she nodding? You know, she's really by herself, or is someone on the other side kind of holding something up or saying something, like mouthing something? Just never know, you know? So just to keep that in mind, that there is nodding in her video that is a little concerning or raises a little questions. I'm throwing this in here now because there is something on her tongue in the beginning of the video. This is straight up just the beginning of the video, and I can't really explain it. I don't know what that is, so I'm just throwing it in here. Now at the end of the day, she's risking like a lot by just eating that much seafood in one period of time. And earlier on in her little YouTube career, or whatever you want to call it, she was posting videos more frequently, so it was like once like every week or 2 weeks she was eating that amount of seafood, which is literally putting her in the position of possibly getting mercury poisoning, because, you know, it's more present in seafood and things like that, and if you're eating it in large quantities, It's okay to eat, you know, it's an everyday food, we eat it all the time, but it's it's like little trace amounts. And if she's eating that big of amount, she knows she is looking at that risk, as well as parasites. I mean, that is raw, uncooked food a lot of times out of the year. You know, you're only supposed to eat so much seafood, and she is just doing it in large, extreme amounts that are concerning. Now, this really could all just be for money. In reality, if something like this was portrayed and people were thinking this, that tends to make them look through the video very meticulously and also watch the video to the end. And therefore, when you watch someone's video to the end, they're gonna receive the maximum value of revenue. So what I'm trying to say here is there is a possibility that, you know, someone created this idea in their head, they thought this idea, they commented it, and she ran with it and just never showed her face or anything like that because it made people watch her videos. Granted, I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that she is a good person. Regardless, at the end of the day, that is a possibility, and the possibility still stands out there that she is in some sort of trouble or, you know, in a dangerous situation. So let's keep that in mind. Let's put a little awareness to the situation. Maybe we can get it figured out with law enforcement or something like that. I did read comments and people were saying that they had called 911, which I'm not sure about. I would have thought, you know, we would have seen something somewhere, but, you know, maybe this was all figured out and we just didn't get the memo. But the only time will tell if she puts up a new video. If this stuff keeps happening, eventually things are going to unravel and they may be bad or they may be okay. So maybe there could potentially be a part 2 to this video. Right now, that's really all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed my video about Kate Yup and the mysteries around her channel and who she is and what she is. So make sure you go like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!